Now, before we get to the real meat of the game, I thought I'd just show you guys something. Since you're not going to get a chance to see it in this playthrough, I thought I'd just show what my unit looked like in my first playthrough. So, yeah, just back to the creation screen here, entering the name. Now, actually, the Japanese version, I couldn't fit, technically, I would have my name as Bigu Kuringi, but I couldn't fit that, so I just had Kuringi. Anyway, choosing Knight because, hey, I like armored classes. They're pretty much my favorite class, and yeah, that's what I made myself look like. Gotta love that setty green hair. And as for stats, Priest Charm for the defense boost, Diversity for extra strength, and Honourable for freakishly high speed growth by armor standards. And basically, here's what my base stats look like. That speed may look low, but it got better, trust me. Okay, so with that out of the way, hello and welcome back to New Mystery of the Emblem. Time to overwrite one of my old saves and begin the prologue proper. Prologue 1, Meeting. I like their short and snappy titles here. And who will we be meeting? Well, why yes she did. And who is this, you may ask? Oh, we'll find out in a moment after. Oh god, no. Anyway, she's here to become a knight too, and her name is Katarina. And interestingly enough, Katarina has just been revealed to be appearing as DLC for Fire Emblem Awakening. Good luck unlocking her, though. You're going to need it. Anyway, Katarina will basically be our BFF for the prologue. Now, let's meet the rest of the Squires. This is Luke, the hammy one, and Ryan, the not hammy one. We'll be seeing more of him a bit later. Alright, let's go and meet Jagan. Alright, everyone's gathered here. If you look down at the bottom screen, you can probably tell Luke and Rhodey are here, as are Mary Sue and Katarina up the top, and below them are what I presume just generic NPCs. I like to think two of them are wimp and lame, but anyway. So yes, there's 100 or so people taking this test, and presumably only the ones with actual names are going to make it to the end. Oh, pairs, alright, of course, there's no doubt who we'll be ending up with. And of course we're going to be fighting. You know, wouldn't be a prologue chapter without that. Problem? How so? Your sprite down there looks like a mage. Strategist, huh? I'm pretty sure that's a class that uses swords and tomes. Its mastery skill is Magnificent Flame. It's the class of my unit in Awake. Oh, wait a minute. I guess we're gonna have to wait till one game before strategists can actually fight. So, unfortunately, Katarina can't. And, naturally, we're up first. Alright, let's get ready to begin fighting. Yeah, and Katarina runs off to the sidelines, and hey, yes, here are the tutorials, and again, you know, I can't give the translation team enough credit for, they had to hack the game's actual graphics to actually make these. They had to essentially produce some of these from scratch. Just great, really great. And of course, these tutorials only show up in normal mode, but you know, here's just a tutorial about moving and using the stylus or the buttons. You know, simple stuff. Now this bit of dialogue will actually not show up if you're not playing normal mode. So only on normal do you get this, you know, movement tutorial. You got to move to that big glowing spot there. You know, here's the tutorial up there on how to use the buttons. I just thought I'd have a quick flip through the unit screen just to see what it looks like. And you can see Merisu's base stats up there. They're slightly affected by what we picked for her past, present, and future. And I just thought I'd show there are separate tutorial cards for moving with the buttons and moving with the stylus, which is pretty cool. You know, you can either tap your unit, then tap your destination, or tap the unit and slide to destination, but I don't know, I prefer buttons. Let's get moving, but first... Now, if there's one thing you guys should know about this game, it's that it has a lot of characters, and I mean a lot of characters. I think this game even beat Radiant Dawn, the previous record holder for most playable characters in the series. Seriously, there are over 70 characters in this game, and I really want to discuss each of them on their own merits, but I just wouldn't have time in the actual videos themselves. So, I'm going to do this. Every time a new character is recruited, I'm going to put the video on hold for a bit and take some time to discuss them. Their class, their growths, their base stats, you know, essentially everything you need to know about them. And for that purpose, I've cooked up these little stat screens here, which you can see right here. Now, most of them won't look like this. My unit is a little bit special, and this is the reason I've decided to discuss them first. Well, apart from, you know, being the first character you ever get. Because, now, here's the thing. I can't really discuss my unit in terms of gameplay, because there's just so many possible combinations you can make for them. And, you know, really, each one totally affects how you play. And as you can see there with the growths, now, what I've shown there is, the dark blue bars are my unit's base growths before adding in the class growths. I didn't even bother factoring in those because there's so many potential classes, and seriously, you know, I'm not going to show every possible growth, not just that, but past, present, and future choices will also affect their growths, as you can see by those little green plus question marks I've put there. Basically, any of those growths can be affected by past, present, or future. And also, as you can see with the base stats there are just their bases before adding the class bases, and before adding past, present, and future options. And again, just because there's so many possible ways you can play my unit, I can't really, you know, give you any advice on them or discuss them really. So all I will just sum them up in one way. Broken. Yes, that's right, one word, broken. Because seriously, no matter what options you choose for your My Unit, they are always going to be ridiculously, stupidly, utterly overpowered. This is partly due to the fact that, being the first character you get, and being forced for the whole prologue, they're generally force-fed a huge ton of experience. They will always come out of the prologue ridiculously over-leveled compared to everyone else. But it's not just that. Their growths will always be absolutely insane. I mean, they're good even without factoring in past, present, and future options. But when you include those, well, you know, let's just say I got an armoured My Unit to max out speed very early. He was doubling things, a lot of things, very often. And that's pretty normal. My unit pretty much tends to max out just about every stat on average. Well, not every stat, but everything that matters. Not just that, but I can pretty much safely say, whatever class you make your My Unit, they will be better than everyone else in the game at that class. And you'll see an example of that later on when I start reclassing them. Essentially, they're guaranteed to be the best they are at whatever you make them. And, you know, well, okay, I think you've got the picture. Broken. Broken, broken, completely broken. So broken, in fact, that some drafting tournaments actually outright ban them. Well, outside of the prologue anyway, because you're kind of forced to use them there. Right, now that I've got that out of the way, I think I'll take this time, because I didn't have much to say about my unit, to discuss the status screens in general, because this is how they're going to look, well, apart from those extra class question marks. This is how they're going to look for every character in the game, so I'll just walk you through it. On the left side there, we have a portrait of the character, their name. Below that, we have their class, the chapter they join in, how many chapters they're available for, and this is a very important thing, and who they get support bonuses from. Now note that this is totally separate from who they get support conversations with. I'll talk about the support system in more detail later, but anyway, my unit gets a support bonus, as you can see here, from Mark, Katarina, Luke, Brody, and Brian. My unit gives a support bonus to everyone in the game. Supports are kind of weird in that they can be one way, but anyway then. Now to the right you'll see their growth rates. You know, HP, strength, magic, skill, speed, luck, defense, resistance. Every dark blue block represents 10% in a growth. Now, all growths start at 0, so you see 3 blocks in skill there means a 30% skill growth. Well, that's just a base. I've done something a bit different for HP though. For HP, I've started the scale at 30. Each block still represents 10, but the scale starts at 30, and that's because that's actually the lowest HP growth you'll ever see in the game. If I started the HP scale at 0, not only would it look uncharacteristically high compared to other stats, you know, because the HP growth on average is always higher than most of the other growths, but also I wouldn't be able to fit it on this screen. So anyway, that's basically just the general gist of it. And below that, in the table here, I show the character's base stats when they first join, and their average stats at assuming they were promoted at level 20 and raised all the way up to level 20. Now note that these stats are just averages. There's a very good chance that the stats you end up with will be slightly lower or slightly higher, but they're just good to look at just to get an indication of what you can expect from that character. And if a stat on average, if the number is bold, it means the character will max out that stat on average. And when a character does that, you know they're pretty awesome in that area. And, well, that's pretty much it. Just one more thing. I'm only going to be discussing characters in their base classes. Now, if you want to know something about me, I hate the reclass system with a passion. And because of that, I'm not going to be using reclass. So what I'm going to do is, I'm only going to show the character's growth in their default class, their bases in their default class, and I will discuss them based purely on their default class. And yeah, that's basically it, so sorry for holding you up for so long. Let's get back to the prologue. We're back, and it's time for Mary Sue's first test. Walking. And, well, we pretty much passed that one. And now we've got a tutorial on how to wait, which is not really necessary given it's the only option we have. And we've got enemies now. Hi, generic soldier. And hi, direct combat tutorial. Now, the combat tutorial here will actually change depending on what class you made your my unit. If you made them an archer or a mage, you'll get an indirect combat tutorial here. That's actually a pretty nice touch. And just speaking of touch, just checking out the stylus controls here. Now press R to close tutorials and look at stats, and whoa, 0 speed. Yeah, you're gonna get doubled by everything, aren't you? Yeah, now it's gonna talk about the fact that you have multiple options now. And, well, depending on your my unit's class, you may or may not, well, it's pretty hard not to double this guy. But combat here is going to go differently, but no matter what's going to happen, it's always going to end badly for this guy. Sorry, generic soldier, but you kind of suck. You're no match for a Mary Sue. No, no one's a match for a Mary Sue. And now, it's time for Fire Emblem fans to live out their greatest fantasy. Beating the crap out of Jagen. I'm kidding, sorry. I mean, in all seriousness, I think Jagen is an awesome character, especially considering what he does a little bit later, but, you know, we'll find that out later. But, yeah, I don't care that he's got bad growth rates, he's awesome. You know, the guy is just cool. This talks about combat screen, you know. And now you'll notice here, Jagen has a javelin, so he can counter you regardless of what class you're in. He also has no move listed, so he won't actually move, and he actually won't attack you unless you do first. So he's going to wait until you make the first move. Right, let's show what we got. And yeah, it looks like we're pretty much going to win this. There's no way we can fail. I'm pretty sure on normal, the Prologue 1 is literally impossible to fail. Now this talks about alternating turns, but that's pretty obvious. And oh no, he's going to hit us, and he's gone! Take that, you experienced thief! I'm kidding, Jagen, you're still cool. And for our troubles we get... Mary Sue's first level up! Please be awesome, please be awesome, please be awesome. Pretty average if I'll be honest. I guess I should say something here. Since your My Unit is guaranteed to get exactly one level up in this map, and since the map itself is so short and easy, it's worth it to reset until you get a level up you're happy with. I actually did that in my first run. I reset and I believe I got a level up that had strength and defense as well as skill and speed. And Katarina's like, yay, we won. It's all thanks to you, Mary Sue. Of course, because Mary Sue gets all the credit and supplants the job of all the canon characters. But it's not like Katarina could have done much anyway. And look, we finally get to see Marth, and hey, he has a nice new portrait. Much better than his Shadow Dragon portrait. That one just looked weird. It just didn't look like him at all. Anyway, again, several characters have new portraits in this game, and the vast majority of them are actually quite a lot better than Shadow Dragon. You know, Marth's new portrait is, again, much cooler than his original one. And now we're going to have some info dump for people who didn't play Shadow Dragon. In Shadow Dragon, Marth defeated the Shadow Dragon. Shock horror there. Yeah, you show them some manners, Jagen. Especially not in the Fire Emblem universe, you know you're only going to have a period of peace for like, I don't know, about a couple of months. And then the next game will come out, and, you know, without war you wouldn't have a series. And Marth's going on with this whole, I fight for my friends thing. Oh, wait a minute, that's not Marth. Yeah, I like that translation there. This translation's kind of trying to imitate the, kind of more flowery language style of the original Shadow Dragon localization, which, I actually really like, and it's much better than the original Mystery of the Emperor fan translation, which was kind of stiff and really stupid in some places. Now, I'm just going to do something a little different here. Because this chapter is so short, I thought I'd show what it looks like on hard. It's actually quite different to how it is on normal. The first thing you'll likely notice is that Jagen and the soldier are both on the map right from the start. Secondly, there are no tutorials. Thirdly, generic soldier has a speed snap. Lol. And fourthly, as you might notice in a little bit, Jagen's stats slightly improved. Your My Unit begins with a vulnerary. They actually don't come with a vulnerary on normal, but on any difficulty higher they do, and it's a good thing they do, because you're going to need it, especially on Lunatic. You will need to use your vulnerary probably twice to get past Jagan. Now Jagan still won't attack you until you come to him. And on regular old hard, he's still pretty simple, but you probably do need to use your vulnerary once. And now I can just finish him off, and down goes Jagan again. See, that wasn't so hard, even though it's hard mode, but the hard mode prologue does get tougher. It gets a lot tougher. Now let's see if the level up I got was, any different. What? What, the same level up? Who cares? I restarted after that anyway. And yeah, well, that's pretty much it. Now, I'm not actually going to be showing any of the other prologue chapters on hard. I'll put all my best moments from my hard run in a montage at the end. But I just wanted to show that, yes, the first prologue is actually quite different. And on the higher difficulties, some of my unit builds may even have a bit of trouble. So yeah, that's basically it. That's the first prologue. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again when Mary Sue's journey continues.